Good morning. Thank you for joining us here today. We're gathered on traditional territory of the signatories of Treaty 6, and I acknowledge the Métis people who share a deep connection to this land. I'm Lori Sigurdson, the MLA for Edmonton Riverview and the critic for seniors issues, continuing care, and home care. I'm joined today by advocates Carrie Drew from Beaumont, Daniel Lennett from Edmonton, and Aaron Novakovski from Calgary. We know all areas of health care in our province are under incredible strain and have been for some time. The UCP government's failure to support public health because Daniel Smith's goal is privatization continues to jeopardize the well-being of all Albertans. That includes our family members, friends, and neighbors who depend on home care to survive and thrive, but are being denied the resources necessary to participate as members of their communities. Without proper funding, Albertans who need home care are forced to pay out of pocket because of inadequate allocation of hours and must rely on the goodwill of friends and family for that care. Chronic staffing issues are pervasive throughout healthcare, but the UCP's latest Alberta's Calling recruitment drive left healthcare workers out of the program. The UCP's government's lack of respect for home care workers and the Albertans who need their care is evident in the fact that home care aides and personal support workers are among the poorest paid healthcare workers in Alberta. The government's focus is on privatization, but we know that for-profit home care providers often employ a precarious workforce of underpaid and undertrained care workers who are constantly being asked to do more with less. We just have to look at the recent revelation that a 62-year-old Edmonton man paralyzed on the left side after a stroke thought he was being transferred from the Royal Alexandra Hospital to some type of assisted living facility, but instead he was taken by a taxi to a travel lodge in Leduc. This is what happens when private agencies get involved instead of integrated home care system. I would now like to invite Daniel to share his experience. Daniel?
Thank you, Lori. I'm Daniel Lennett. I'm 30 years old, a four-limb amputee, and an emerging filmmaker. I completed my BA honors in psychology in 2020, finishing with first-class honors. I then turned to film to tell the stories of disabled people, and I've just wrapped on a CBC series doing just that. I've also been awarded funding from Telefilm's Talent to Watch program. My ability to function and thrive in community is dependent on care work, from basic early morning tasks to getting groceries to working on set. But the absurdity that disabled people dependent on care work must live with is this: no amount of success will insulate us from the constant threat of institutionalization. My 66-year-old mother is my primary care worker and has been providing 24-hour care for my entire life. As a single parent, my mom's employment options have been severely limited and stratified her into poverty. She's developed bad hip problems and is living with chronic pain. Yet this government still demands that she provides the majority of my care. Recently, when transitioning to government care, AHS evaluated my care needs at 66 hours per day. This is wholly inadequate for even the most basic tasks. No one can function in a dignified way with only 6.6 hours of time to live their life. And AHS dictates that when my mother is unable to continue doing care work, as she is now, and I run out of friends and family to exploit for free labor, that I should be institutionalized because my care needs are unscheduled and too demanding to be met in my own home. The fact is, everyone's life includes unscheduled tasks. Another fact is, no one has the resources required to pay for care work individually. A lack of adequate home care funding means disabled people reliant on care work are faced with poverty, burnout, aging family, threats of institutionalization, and antiquated and unrealistic assessments that fail to capture our care needs. Disabled people deserve to live in community without the constant threat that if their life circumstances change, that they will be thrown into a long-term care facility. This flies in the face of basic fairness and ethics. We are here to remind this UCP government that having a disability is not a sufficient reason to segregate someone out of their community. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. I'd like to now invite Carly, or Carrie, who has traveled from Beaumont to be here today.
Thank you, Lori. I'm Carly Drew, a 31-year-old writer, creator, and consultant. I've been featured in Times and Forbes, worked on a CBC docuseries, and more. As you surely noticed, I'm also profoundly disabled. My survival is incumbent upon care work. Without care, I can't cook, eat, escape my home in an emergency, or even scratch my nose. I have the same needs as anyone else, but I can't execute them unassisted. With current care caps, my life is reduced to 8.25 hours a day, leaving 2/3 of my life unaccounted for. Unscheduled life-sustaining tasks, like having to urinate or hydrate, are considered inconsequential by the present system. This doesn't reflect the life of any human being. My needs can't be met in this narrow window. I've exceeded my daily quota just to be here today. My remaining needs fall primarily to my mother, who continues to sacrifice her needs for mine while my father works away to support us. Our reality under the current system has ravaged my parents' physical and mental health. They grow increasingly afraid of what will happen to me when they die, as we incessantly face impossible situations and look ahead to what else comes with age. Like anyone, they'll need care at some point too. Without reform and expansion, the grim reality of institutionalization looms over me. And with my round-the-clock care needs, I wouldn't survive. Figuratively and literally, the cost of institutionalizing me is monumental. The care insecurity crisis demands our collective attention. Non-disabled is a temporary state, and the robust home care system is the only sustainable, ethical, and economical path forward. I can access need, but not the care I need to survive. I'm a multidimensional person with goals, responsibilities, and loved ones. I'm an active community member and a self-employed taxpayer. But I'm one of many Albertans facing a crisis of care, and we shouldn't be successful or ambitious, shouldn't have to be successful or ambitious to deserve care and subsequently life. Disabled Albertans and seniors have lives worth living and families worth unburdening. We deserve dignity and autonomy. We have the right to exist in our homes and communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Carly, for sharing your story with us. And I would like now to turn the mic over to Erin, who came up from Calgary to be with us here today.
Thank you, Lori. Hi, my name is Erin Novakovski. I'm 22 and a student at the University of Calgary in the final year of my bachelor's degree in English and political science. I'm also a published writer, a disability activist with an online following of around 700,000, and I hope to one day become a high school teacher. I've been a full-time wheelchair user since I was in kindergarten, and as a result of my disability, I require help with most physical tasks. In high school, I was an advanced placement student on honor roll, and I graduated at the top of my class. At only 17 years old, while applying to schools and dreaming about where my future might take me, I experienced the grim reality that I'd face as a disabled person in Alberta. In preparation for my transition to adult home care services, my family and I were told that because my care needs were, quote, so extraordinary, we should expect to have to pay the thousands of dollars not covered by AHS monthly forever. The extraordinary needs they were referring to are the same needs that every human being has: to eat, to sleep, to shower. And when I asked what might happen when me or my family were no longer able to cover that cost, I was quickly told that I would be placed in an institution. I have to be constantly aware of the fact that as the system is right now, the slightest change to my current situation could mean that everything that I've worked towards can be stolen from me in an instant. It genuinely breaks my heart knowing that there are thousands of people who have not been as fortunate as I have been so far, and that this government finds it acceptable that their talents, interests, and goals will never ever be recognized. My greatest goal in life is to help make this world more accessible, whether I have to fight to do that from a home that I get to build with my partner, my family, and friends, or from within the walls of an institution. Knowing that anyone can become disabled at any moment, I want the members of this government to explain to me why they believe that disabled taxpayers, constituents, human beings like me are not worthy of the basic resources necessary to live healthy, independent, and productive lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erin, for your comments. Many Albertans, regardless of medical history, financial position, or background, will require home care at some point in their lives. And with Alberta's population aging, we must expand and strengthen our home care system for all Albertans who need it now and in the future. Today, I will be tabling a petition from the Friends of Medicare with more than 34,000 signatures calling on the Government of Alberta to prioritize increasing home care funding to improve the quality of availability of home care services for everyone who needs it, to improve compensation and working condition for home care workers, and to provide the resources to support the expansion of the home care system. Thank you. We are now happy to take your questions.
Whoops, thank you. Just a reminder, if you're on Zoom, it's the raise hand function. If you're on *9, it's to get in the question queue if you're on the phone. Anyway, we'll start with questions in the room. Sorry about that. Here we've got one. Just say your name and outlet and who you'd like to direct your question to. Thank you.
My name is Christine O'Loughlin. I'm with City News. My question is for Lori. What do you think the government needs to be doing right now?
Well, first of all, they need to be investing more in public home care services and not sort of a patchwork of privatized, and making sure that the allocation of hours is enough. You've heard the 3 stories from our participants here today, and it's clear that they can't live lives of dignity without relying on family friends who are doing it, you know, out of the goodness of their hearts, of course, because they care about them. But the government of Alberta really needs to step up and invest much more in home care. And of course, we need to have qualified people doing this work. Obviously, people need specialized services, so we need to be supporting workers to have that kind of training, that kind of educational background. The government's done other things for healthcare system, created ladder programs for licensed practical nurses to become RNs for the acute care system. This is keeping people in their homes, which we know people want to age and live in their own communities. There's things governments can do, so they can certainly work post-secondary. So those are a few things.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. We'll just do one more quick pass for questions. If you're on the phone, it's *9. If you're on Zoom, it's raise hand. Seeing none, that concludes our press conference for today. Thanks very much.